Chapter 2: The TANA. In 1913, Nairobi Municipal Authority, the only municipality at the time in the entire country, voices its dissatisfaction with the services of Nairobi Electric Power and Lighting Company Limited. It's marvelous that Nairobi has electricity in the first place, even though it was more often unreliable and of poor quality. The stream of newspaper complaints against Nairobi Electric Power and Lighting were never ending. Such public dissent leads the Municipal Council to consider requesting the government against renewing the company's concession due to expire in 1916. With Nairobi Electric now on the defense, it is forced to make political promises and concessions to cool off the municipal county, perhaps more than it could deliver. The company promises to immediately replace all defective street lamps. Extend power supply to Nairobi's newest residential areas such as Kilimani and the upcoming Muthaiga. But in order to fulfill these promises, the company knows that a second source of power is needed. The Roiro plant will not suffice. Kilometers north of Nairobi and 20 kilometers from Thika Township, the company cites the hydroelectric potential of the Ndula River Falls. It immediately orders generating equipment from Britain. Unfortunately, the First World War breaks out and the schedule comes to a halt. It is another 10 years before work starts on the Ndula site. In 1924, the Nairobi Electric Power and Lighting Company is now the East African Power and Lighting Company Limited. The Ndula Hydroelectric Scheme is the first major project that the new company undertakes. With Nairobi and Mombasa growing at a fast pace, the demand for power is higher than ever. As soon as EAP&L is done with Ndula, fresh plans to generate even more power are born. A site is discovered near the Fort Hall district, today's Murang'a. At the confluence of the TANA and Maragua rivers would sit the Maragua-TANA hydroelectric scheme. And in 1927, the Wanjia scheme is proposed as the next site to develop the Maragua-TANA hydroelectric power scheme. Commercial service on the Maragua part of the Maragua-TANA scheme had begun on 31st of March 1933, and the opening gala day for the new Maragua powerhouse is held on Monday the 31st of July. EAP&L's chief guests on the day are the acting governor Henry Moore, accompanied by his wife and daughter, Little Miss Holmes. Much later, on the 8th of March 1951, construction of the Wanjia scheme commences. Adjacent to it rests another previously surveyed site, the Low TANA, as it comes to be known. Both are to generate electric power meant for Nairobi. In January of 1952, the EAPL executes a contract to generate an extra 8,000 kilowatts from the new scheme. The low TANA is later referred to as the original TANA in 1952. Ironically though, in 1933, the East Africa Royal Report disregards the use of the River TANA for a hydroelectric scheme. The report states, one conclusive fact which emerges is that the river does not justify the sanguine hopes which it has sometimes raised. In 1934, investigations by Mrs. Harris and Sampson conclude there are no real prospects on the lower and middle reaches. In 1948, another survey even declares the costs considered in this project uneconomic. History proves these investigations wrong. Together, the Wajir and the low TANA schemes at peak produce an estimated 21,800 kilowatts of power. Once again, come 1952, the EAPL describes Nairobi's hunger for electric power as almost insatiable. As one company newsletter describes, industry are being relocated outside the city and along the old caravan track from Machakos, now known as Enterprise Road. Several new businesses being built pose a serious challenge of adequate power supply for the company's engineers. The extra power currently being pumped from the Wanjie and low TANA is just not enough. And so, survey begins on a new 80,000 kilowatt project known as the Seven Forks. A 1955 shareholders newsletter describes the new site well. At a point close to the road from Embu to Kitui, about 80 kilometers below the present TANA River station, there is a series of rapids and falls known as the Seven Forks. At a cost estimated at 12 million sterling pounds at the time, it was noted, this area can be made to yield about 100,000 kilowatts at normal river flow. For the Seven Forks project to be turned into a reality, EAP&L has to undertake its biggest financial risk yet. The company throws in the dice and puts up 1 million of its ordinary shares for sale simultaneously on the London and Nairobi stock markets. The successful issue is oversubscribed at a premium price of 32 shillings and 50 cents per 20 shilling share. Issue of about 1.8 million ordinary shares is floated as a rights issue in July 1952 and is also fully taken up by the existing shareholders at 22 shillings and 50 cents a share. The company shareholders newsletter of August 1955 quotes the cost of the original TANA in 1933 at £64,000 sterling. The adjacent Wanjie scheme at a cost of £1.2 million sterling and the TANA scheme extensions at £1.6 million sterling. The Seven Forks development is undertaken in stages so as to counter the gradual increase in demand for power and the heavy financial expenditure it requires. In August 1964, Kindaruma is chosen as the first development. The site of this new project is followed by the commissioning of the Kindaruma Dam and Power Station in 1968. Kindaruma Dam is based on the TANA River and a 900-meter-long dam that is raised to hold back 123 million cubic meters of water, which is guided through turbines to an underground powerhouse. The Kamburu project is the second phase of the Seven Forks hydroelectric development. A 110-kilometer, 132-kilovolt transmission line connecting Kamburu to Nairobi is constructed to link with the national grid, and 9-mile transmission line to connect Kamburu with the existing power station. In July 1971, the Kamburu project begins. The main stage of the work, the commissioning of two 30-megawatt generator sets, is set to be complete in 1974. Gitaru Power Station is commissioned in 1978 with a 225 megawatt capacity. The Masinga Dam is commissioned in 1981 with an installed capacity of 40 megawatts. That marks the end of Chapter 2, the TANA. Chapter 3 in our 4-part series is titled Neighbours. It highlights the role of the East African Power and Lighting Company in Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania.